Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick tutorial about how to easily save data for WebGL games in Unity and make sure it persists across different builds of the game, since there's not really a lot of documentation or help for that online. This tutorial assumes and requires that you're using some sort of bespoke save system that uses either JSON, XML, or binary files. Really anything where you're in control of actually reading or writing the data will work. If you're using player prefs instead, Unity automatically handles data persistence, but their default method of doing this means it'll get lost with each new build, if you're uploading your game to a platform like itch. So I would really recommend doing it yourself unless this is just for a game jam or something. If you don't have any kind of save system for your game yet, creating one is outside the scope of this tutorial, and can get kind of complicated, but also doesn't have one correct answer, so I would recommend finding a tutorial on it that makes sense to you, and following that before you watch this. Assuming you've already done that, let's move on to the tutorial. Typically, when saving files on any platform in Unity, you want to use the persistent data path attribute of the application class, which gives you what the name suggests, a place to save your data that is persistent. However, on WebGL, due to how some platforms like itch handle uploaded builds and how Unity creates that persistent path, it ends up pointing to a new directory each time you upload a new build. So, instead of using Unity's persistent path, we're going to be creating our own by creating a project directory where we'll save our data. First, we need to use a preprocessor directive to check to make sure we're on WebGL, because this code won't work on any other platform. Once we have the conditional compilation set up, we need to allow for a new directory to be created if we don't already have one. Web games have an internal database called an Indexed Database File System, or IDBFS for short, and that's what we'll be using. It's actually the same place Unity's persistent path points to, but like I said earlier, each build points to a unique subdirectory within the IDBFS, so we're going to make sure every build of the game looks in the custom subdirectory instead. For the name of your custom directory, I recommend using the product name specified in project settings. If you can have multiple saves in your game, you might also want to include a saves directory within the project directory specifically for them. But be aware that you'll need to make sure you create both of them before trying to access the saves subdirectory. Now that you've made sure the directory will be created, you'll have somewhere that every build can access for you to store your data. We're not done yet though. There's another step to actually be able to add or write files to this directory, and to do that we're going to need to make use of a very handy parameter Unity added only last year in 2024, though it was added to previous LTS versions apparently, called AutoSync Persistent Data Path. I know that name, and even their release notes would suggest it only works if you're using the persistent data path attribute, but it actually will sync any changes to a path in the IDBFS, fortunately. Unity should probably consider changing that, or at least updating their documentation. If you don't care about or need to have anyone else work on the game except for you, you can go to the editor install you're using and just change the index.html templates to add the parameter and then go about your day. For the default template, Unity actually includes a parameter already. It's just commented out, so all you have to do is enable it. If you're using the minimal template like me though, you'll need to add the slightly different line here in the create Unity instance call. And for the PWA template, I would assume you simply add the same argument from the default template here based on the syntax, but I have not tested it. If you're working with other people, you might want to make a custom build template, and as per Unity's documentation about it, copy the default template you want to use and save it in the WebGL templates folder in your assets folder. Then you can share it with your team or have it backed up to your GitHub repository so they can all select it from their project settings when they build the game. And that's it. It's really simple to do, but not so simple to figure it out, and I had to do a lot of research and testing to figure it out, so hopefully this tutorial will save you the time and trouble I went through. Leave a like if it did, and subscribe if you like game dev stuff. I'm a Unity and Godot developer. Most of my content is focused on Godot, but I know a lot more about Unity. So I'm happy to share any expertise I have with you if this video proves to be useful for people. The game that motivated me to do this, that you've seen in the background of this video, is supposed to be a short little game for people to enjoy in honor of my 2 years on YouTube. So you will be able to play this game in the hopefully near future, if it looks interesting to you. I've also got some more videos in the works for my Godot game and possibly some other stuff, so stay tuned and hopefully I'll see you in future videos. Bye!